In terms of exploitation, what we have tried to do is we have tried to do exploitation in different ways in C3-Cloud. And we have followed a stream of activities trying to transform the project idea we had initially to bring an innovative ICT solution into technology and then market-ready products, but also services aiming to look for future commercialization and incorporation, but also to take forward what we have created in this small community. So the C3-Cloud Consortium has created some substantial scientific know-how assets, which we feel as a whole are very valuable to the whole community. And I think this session tries to discuss this exploitation route. So initially I will talk about the commercial and incorporation exploitation, and actually I will talk about the different components that we have developed in a moment, and later on talk to you about the plan we have to achieve this through a particular incorporation route, discuss how this affected health and social care practice, and you have heard already the perspective of the 3 pilot sites, how our industrial partners benefited from that, and other routes to exploitation. So this is just a summary to show you what kind of assets we have created. And indeed, we have created a lot of ICT type of tools and components as they have been discussed through the day. We had a discussion of the C3DP, the CDS services, the patient empowerment platform, and as a background engine, we talked about the interoperability engine, in terms of both interconnectivity and technical interoperability, the semantic mapper, and our semantic interoperability suite, and our security and privacy suite, which are all assets that have been created. But as Mari said, in addition to having these as independent assets and potentially exploit them as independent components, we are putting these together as a whole package. And throughout this exercise, not only we have created ICT components, but we have created know-how and content that can also be exploited in the future. And this, for example, includes the know-how we had in terms of mappings of data structure as part of our semantic interoperability approach, the approach on specifying clinical guidelines and how we have reached that, and also the approach to put all this together with our clinical partners and input from particular patients at the first phases of the evaluation, where we managed to learn and at the end co-produce the whole solution. So I think these are the assets that the future partnership of C3-Cloud is trying to exploit. And in terms of other routes, we have done quite a few other things, as any research project will do. In terms of exploitation, our published outcomes have been quite good, 27 peer-reviewed journal publications and 10 keynotes, invited speeches where we presented C3-Cloud over the past 4 years. In terms of research pollination, you will hear from my colleague Esteban about the AdLife project, which has been one of the successful projects that is following up C3-Cloud. The other interesting research pollination projects include the HS Monitor, which took ideas of C3-Cloud and was part of C3-Cloud partners have been part of this. And in the UK, we managed to convince the Health Data Science Health Data Research UK group, which is a large institute covering the whole of the country. They have invested originally £30 million for the first 5 years of the institute, going up to £150 million to develop a particular project in measuring and understanding multimorbidity. So all of these show you the rich research exploitation we have done. But in addition to that, we have used C3-Cloud in the participating universities, not only to create specific useful components for MSc courses, MSc dissertations, but we have PhD students working as part of C3-Cloud. And in the future, we want to take all the concepts we have been discussing to further educate not only formally clinicians and health informaticians and ICT technologists, but also the patient. And I think that's an important part of the exploitation process. Finally, if you go to GitHub on our website, you will see that we have selected assets and results open source, and we have push this onto the OpenAIRE interface, the open source repository for all results of European projects. And finally, we exploited things in terms of policy and standardization. We have been inputting work for the eHealth network, and also various partners have been part of standardization bodies, and they have contributed elements of the learning of C3-Cloud in that whole process. So we are grateful for all the partners for that. Here is the success story. Innovation Radar has identified our, even before the end of the project, our products to be high TRL. And that gives us the opportunity to exploit things in the future, to make things market ready and market competitive. All the components I talked about are part of the functional implementation of C3-Cloud, plus the other elements that are part of the Innovation Radar. And here you see the key innovators for these innovations, but all partners have been part of our innovation assets, and we are very grateful for that exploitation in that sense. So thank you very much for your attention.